Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer for gout.
Good evening, this is Kini News and I'm your host Prasad. The voters in Klang need an explanation from DAP on why Charles Santiago, a favourite, is being dropped in GE15. And that is what we have for you today. Here's Anthony Locke to shed some light on the matter. DAP has officially announced that the party will replace popular incumbent Klang MP Charles Santiago as a candidate. However, according to DAP Secretary General Anthony Locke, the decision was made years ago.
Well, I think the understanding for Charles was 2018 was the last term when he was nominated for 2018, 2018. That's what.
But he was told at that time?
He was told at that time.
But I mean, he has since shown willingness to continue.
Oh, that was an understanding. I mean, as I said, I do not want to open up. Since he already accepted the decision, I thank him for that. He accepted the decision wholeheartedly and he asked people to support Ganapati. That is something that I just want to rest.
Pressed further on why such an agreement was made in 2018, Locke sidestepped the question.
So why was there? Sorry. So why was there an understanding in 2018 that was?
I was not in charge then, so I'm not the best person to, because it's not me. I mean, Gobin, you can ask Gobin about that. Okay, Gobin, I'm sure Gobin can answer you on that.
Locke also declined to comment further when asked about Charles' willingness to contest in Klang again in GE15, saying the matter was resolved as Charles had accepted the party's decision. On Wednesday night, DAP announced that Kota Kemuning Assembly person V. Ganapati Rao would replace Charles as the candidate for Klang in GE15. Shortly after the announcement, Charles urged his supporters to rally behind Ganapati Rao, who he said would share his and his electorate's ideals.
For someone who do not hold any party position, who held that what do you call that, MP for 3 terms, is quite remarkable. Tell me which party can give a candidate for 3 terms without any party position? None.
With that said, the next story will raise questions on who in DAP is not being completely honest. Arrangement that was known since 2018, Charles says no one told him about it. And some of those things said by Locke didn't seem to impress Charles either. Incumbent Klang MP Charles Santiago has denied that DAP indicated to him that 2018 would be his last term in Parliament. Charles said the remarks by DAP Secretary General Anthony Locke was an afterthought to mitigate the huge backlash over the incumbent's replacement in GE15. Charles was responding to the recent remark by Locke, who said that 2018 was supposed to have been the last term for Charles. Locke also said Charles was notified in the past. In a statement today, Charles said it is unfortunate that the DAP leadership are resorting to such responses, given the massive public criticism. He also said it's unbecoming of both Locke and Selangor DAP chairperson, Gobind Singh Dio, to hint that they are doing him a favour by allowing him to continue as a lawmaker, given that he does not hold positions in the party. Charles stressed that he is still betting on seeing DAP do well at the polls and for Pakatan Harapan to win the general election. Nevertheless, he said he needed to clear the air surrounding the matter, as it involved his integrity. It was a good day for Shafie Abdullah with the High Court ruling that the prosecution had failed to make a case against the veteran lawyer. The Kuala Lumpur High Court has freed lawyer Muhammad Shafie Abdullah from 4 criminal charges linked to 9.5 million ringgit from Najib Abdul Razak.
Now, I think the reason provided not only is very sound, I think some of the reasons provided are very original and is groundbreaking in the law of AMLA especially. Yeah, it's groundbreaking, especially on the element of transaction. To define transaction and whether transaction there defined in the law, my activity is caught within it or not. I must thank my counsel, Habib, Farhan, the 2 Farhans, Sarah and the rest, because they did the research. In fact, I must tell you, the word transaction, they detected it and they submitted it. I'm quite glad that the learned judge saw the point very clearly.
The court this morning ruled that the prosecution has failed to establish a prima facie case against the veteran lawyer. Today was set for a decision at the end of the prosecution's case involving the alleged laundering of the funds. During the open court proceedings, trial judge Muhammad Jamal Hussain said the prosecution failed to prove that the 2 checks were the proceeds from unlawful activities. The judge noted that the prosecution's own witnesses only showed that the checks were deposited into Shafi's account. Jamal added that the prosecutors failed to establish any evidence that Najib or anyone else was linked to any unlawful activity. Deputy Public Prosecutor Afzai Nizam Abdul Aziz appeared for the prosecution, while Shafi was represented by defense lawyer Harvinderjit Singh. When met by the media after proceedings, Harvinderjit expressed his gratitude to the court as well as his defense team, adding that he hopes the prosecution would not appeal to the Court of Appeal. But for Syed Saddiq, things didn't go so well as the Muda leader was asked to enter defense. Does this mean he will sit out G15? He said he'll leave that to the party. Former Bersatu Youth Chief Syed Saddiq has to answer 4 criminal charges linked to 1.12 million ringgit of party funds.
Okay, so how will it impact your campaign or your stand as?
I think that's for the public to decide, but from the Muda's perspective, what I'll do immediately after this is to call for a meeting to discuss this in Tara.
Well, just to confirm, with this case going on until next year, you still choose to defend and compete in the coming election?
It really depends on the good people of Muar, but above and beyond that, I'd like to bring this up to my party because I'm a party man and principles come first in politics.
The Kuala Lumpur High Court this morning ruled that the prosecution succeeded in proving a prima facie case against the incumbent Muar MP in the case of abetting in criminal breach of trust, misappropriation of assets and money laundering. On September 27th, the prosecution closed its case after calling 30 witnesses in the trial which began on May 21st. Syed Saddiq was charged as the then Bersatu Youth Chief who was entrusted with the control of its funds with abetting Rafiq Hakim, who is the former Assistant Treasurer of Bersatu Youth with CBT of 1 million ringgit in funds belonging to the wing. The charge, framed under Section 406 of the Penal Code, provides imprisonment of up to 10 years with whipping and is liable to a fine. The 29-year-old was also charged under Section 403 of the Penal Code for allegedly misusing 120,000 ringgit from the Maybank Islamic Berhad account belonging to Armada Bumi Bersatu Enterprise for himself. On this charge, Syed Saddiq faces imprisonment of up to 5 years with whipping and is liable to a fine. He also faced 2 counts of engaging in money laundering activities, namely 2 transactions of 50,000 ringgit each, believed to be proceeds from unlawful activities. A DAP leader in Perak is convinced with Harapan in power again, Singaporeans will want to work here instead of Malaysians going there to work. DAP National Vice Chairperson Ngak Komeng said when Harapan comes to power, Malaysians will no longer have to look for jobs in Singapore. Speaking at a fundraiser dinner in Muar, Johor last night, he claimed that Harapan would boost the nation's economy to the point that Singaporeans would flock to Malaysia for jobs instead. Nga said Harapan chairperson Anwar Ibrahim is capable of resetting the nation's ailing finances. Apart from the value of the ringgit sliding, he claimed that foreign investors do not have confidence in the current administration and the situation would become worse if BN wins the polls. Close to 1 million Malaysians are working in Singapore. The Johor Bahru-Singapore border congestion has been a long-standing issue affecting both countries. Nga pointed out that under DAP's rule for 3 terms, Penang has become the largest export state in Malaysia. Nga added that the Harapan-led Selangor State Reserve increased from 300 million ringgit to 3.4 billion ringgit between 2008 to 2022. Ismail Sabri may not be interested to debate Anwar Ibrahim, but his predecessor, Muhyiddin Yassin, is up for the challenge. Perikatan National Chairperson Muhyiddin Yassin said he is ready to debate his GE15 rivals. This comes after his counterpart from Pakatan Harapan, Anwar Ibrahim, proposed a debate between the prime ministerial candidates from the 3 main coalitions clashing in GE15. Speaking to reporters today, Muhyiddin said he has no issue with the suggestion.
Nak kata debat ke, nak kata dialog ke, kalau siapa menganjur menjemput saya secara rasmi dan saya fikir agak sesuai dan tak menimbulkan reaksi yang tak elok, itu mungkinnya, dan dibuat secara adil, teratur, ya, bukan ada muslihat lain, ya, itu yang mungkin akan dilakukan. Saya tak ada masalah.
Muhyiddin said discussing issues in the debate related to the country's recovery, the economy and education, as well as international issues would be fine with him. He stressed that the debate must not be for other purposes, aside from discussing important issues for the benefit of the country. Previously, caretaker Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob had rejected the debate challenge from Anwar, saying that such debates were not a culture in Malaysian politics and would bring no benefit. An incumbent lawmaker's legal challenge against GE15 being held this year has been dismissed by the High Court. Stay with us to find out why. Incumbent Klang MP Charles Santiago and a Pandan voter failed in their legal bid to prevent GE15 from being held during the flood-prone monsoon season late this year. The Kuala Lumpur High Court this afternoon dismissed the originating summons by the DAP member as well as the judicial review leave application filed by Pandan constituent Syed Iskandar Syed Jaafar. The verdicts were delivered by Judge Ahmad Kamal Shahid in the legal actions targeting caretaker Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob, Election Commission and the government as the three respondents. The judge ruled that the dissolution of Parliament is not a subject matter that the judiciary has the power to hear. Previously, the respondents' legal team contended that the legal challenges are academic as GE15 has already been fixed on November 19th. During today's online proceedings, Kamal said that both legal actions are non-justiciable matters as they are linked to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong's constitutional power. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.